as promised, commercial free, no yammering, no jammering, no. Oh, I'm already starting, aren't I? Here is the second part of the Alberto and Adrian Upland Brothers podcast. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. Actually, maybe I'll see you tonight on the Zoom room.
They usually put birds, one or two in the first field, and then, one or two in the second field on the way back. And as I go, I'm going through the first field and I don't get into any birds. And now I'm nervous
Now
because
you're
it is.
panicking. Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember in Kyle's house when you go up that mountain, you were complaining about your knees, that right? And then you hook around, right? Same thing. I went through the first and no birds, and I'm nervous. And when I hook around, and as soon as I hook around, he goes on point, and my heart was like, whew. Oh man, and he goes on point, and when he gets to it, can't find the bird. It was raining that day, so I'm like, what's going on? Is this a false point or something? And I'm nervous. My brother's watching from far away. I don't know if he was nervous or not, but I was nervous. And then we continue on after, and he gets on the second one, and he actually gets on point, and we flush in, and it was all good. He ended up doing really well in the field. He got fours on all of his search and everything. And I'm feeling really, really excited now. All we have to do is the track and the water, which the track I wasn't really concerned about because that was his strength, right? Because Leo is more of a methodical dog. He's a little bit on the thinking side rather than running around aimlessly. And we got to the track, right? And as soon as we start, I release him, and the wind was going really strong to the right side, and he essentially started the track and then completely went off to the right side on that scent, and for most of it he was on the upside of the wind, right? The wind was behind him and he was on the upside, so he spent about 60 seconds on that before he got back. The judges were like, you want to call him back? And as soon as I whistled, he comes back, hits the track, and works forward, and he ends up working it for a good distance.
Yeah.
But I have no idea if that was enough to get a prize one, right? So we're still nervous, and it's just that day. And then he goes to the water, he does his water, he swims, and when it's time to get the scores, I remember having it recorded, and it was like Leo, Garbanita, primetime Garbanita, Leon de Judah, reads everything, and it says track and say 3. And I was like, yes, that's a prize one right there.
Let's go!
Let's go. I would have done that if I wasn't in public. And he gets the prize one, and I was really, really excited with that. So he ended up getting a 108 prize one. Then the cooperation was a 3, and the track was a 3. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, fast forwarding, I'm going to get back to our weekend. But Alberto, you said you're going to the Invitational this year.
Yeah, that's right.
With both dogs.
Yeah. So
obviously we could turn this into a 3-part episode. So both of these dogs later on ran utility.
Correct. Yeah.
And Adrian, did you handle Leo in utility?
No, I did not. During that year, I got married, so I wasn't very much involved in Leo's advanced training. So that kind of just snowballed from my brother passed him in the utility, and then continue on. Now he's gonna do the invitational.
You know what the chances of getting 2 dogs? Now you went to a good breeder on the second one. Did you ever go back to the Amish farmer and let him know that you're going to just give him a few extra dollars, or you? I didn't get to see Leo work, but I got to see Lila work.
Yeah.
And I've judged, 20 some years, and now I'll be judging with the Federation. And, dogs stick out in your mind. The problem is, as a judge, the bad dogs stick out in your mind because you're like, oh, but sometimes the good ones do. And I saw Lila when we ran the PE, the mock PE test. And I mean, like you could not find fault in the dog. I don't want to pump any sunshine up your skirt, but I mean, when you're a judge, it's like so easy to judge that dog because she's so honest. You know, she just does her stuff. But even a dog that's well bred, like you got a dog you have no background on the breeding, and then you got a dog like Leo that's well bred. And when you see that dog just do the thing, it would not look that good without the training. I mean, because you have to have nice retrieves, you got to have some control in the field. But when I saw Lila run on those god awful hills at Kyle's place, I was truly impressed with her. I mean, she was just, I wouldn't say she's a rocket, but she's got an afterburner in her. But she was very, very connected. Even, you know, when we ran the test, for the people who don't know what we were doing, the PE test is the pinnacle test of the federation. So you're running a brace, and you're not going home with a trumpet. You're not going home with a medal. You're going home with the knowledge that you've trained this dog well. And she, even with another dog in the field, that I don't know if she knew the other dog, if she'd been with the other dog before.
They never ran together, no.
They never ran together. A lot of times dogs are very competitive, and sometimes you can tell because it's like they're fighting for things. And she did not care that there was another dog in the field. It was like she was doing her own thing. And the wire hair was the same way. And I was shocked because we were kind of prepared to, you know, go in two directions. And I think it was Michelle, right? Was that who was handling Emma, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Emma, yeah.
It looked like you and Emma and Michelle had run before, like the two dogs knew each other and liked each other. It was really pretty, you know.
The funny thing was my brother was the one running Lila because which he never did.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I kept thinking, if those dogs separate, I hope Alberto's over with Adrian, because Alberto's he's apprenticing right now. He's got the scorecard. He's got to learn the system. And he said, well, my brother's going to run it. And I'm like, has he ever run the dog before like this? He goes, no. Really. And you're just like, well, I hope he does good. And I'm thinking, oh my God, the dog's going to pay attention to you and not your brother. And were you nervous, Adrian, running? I mean, I know that was a real test. You know, it was a demonstration, but that dog acted like you owned it.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with Lila. We hunted. I mean, she hunts together with Leo all the time. She's used to hunting with other dogs, right? And she's very, you know, as you can tell, she's actually very competitive, but she's honest as well.
Yeah.
So that's why she got the rockets on her, because she wants to find that bird.
Right.
But I've never ran Lila, but I did run Leo in the Master Hunter test.
Okay.
I ran Leo a couple times last month. So it was kind of similar, you know, we're running with brace mates, you know, a little bit similar. But that was kind of the exposure I had of that high level, you know, test. So that was the only thing I had coming into that running with that.
You kind of knew what the brace work looked like.
Right.
But you were just hoping, because to me, where it could go south would be during either the backing or maybe the retrieving. Right. Because she may but like she went to you just like she'd go to Alberto.
Right.
I mean, it looked like you trained her. And that says something about the dog itself. You know, I've had dogs back in the day that friends of mine, they needed some more dog power going out west, and I gave them a dog. And like a really good dog will hunt for other people, even though obviously Lila knows you. But I would venture to say that you could have probably gave her to a stranger and we'll never know, but you could have got that same connectivity. She just seemed like, as long as whoever you are, is taking me hunting, let's go.
That's right. As long as you have that whistle.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what, whatever you use, that's whatever you do and you do it right, that's what connects the dog. And the dog's like, oh, I know what that means.
Right.
I know what that means. But I was waiting for like some, flubby retrieves or something. And she comes in and just plants herself down and presents the bird to you. It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch.
It was. I was in the back, kind of watching everything because I had to score it. And, as you know, we're scoring in a 10-point system instead of a 4-point system. So we're really like nitpicking, looking into like really details. And, it's a little bit more, a little more difficult. And a 10 really needs to look like there's nothing else that could be done or could be better, right?
Right.
And I got to be honest with you. I mean, she's run really good before, but that day she ran really good. She's also had crappy runs before, but that day she was like boom, 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 like spot on like everything. So it was pretty amazing, to be honest.
I was impressed when they got into a bird, because I'm dragging behind trying to get up this hill to catch up to everybody. And both dogs, I think, just from after watching the dogs for the rest of the time, I know neither of those dogs took the bird out, but they bumped a bird. And I see these two dogs up on the hill just watching the bird fly away.
Right.
And I'm like, that's some steady ass dogs, right?
I thought she was gonna take after the bird.
I bet you were like going,
I haven't trained steady to the flush this year after the hunting season. So watch her, she's gonna be going after that bird, is what I thought.
Well, I mean, that's what most people think. And in judging single dogs that I did for all the years, now I'm going to have to judge braces when I do federation testing. I would forgive a dog that took a 20, 30 yard run and then said, oh yeah, I can't. Or if the handler said, like, I would expect the handler saying no bird. And if you said no bird, that means, okay, we don't chase. But both of those dogs stood there and watched that bird fly out of their life. I was like, wow, we got some good dogs here.
Yeah, it was good.
I want to go back to Leo now. So they both got their prize ones in utility.
Mm-hmm.
So where's this year's invitational going to be?
It's going to be in Ohio.
It's going to be in Ohio. And I mean, it's early yet, but early isn't really early, because it'll be here in the blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, I mean, obviously you probably feel pretty good about the brace work,
Mm-hmm.
backing. Is Leo on the same par, or is Leo being younger, or is Leo just a rock star in his own right?
He's actually in the same level. Funny enough, the weekend before, we had a steadiness and backing seminar. Same thing that the VHTF was holding. And the interesting thing was that we ran Leo as a sample dog that weekend for a brace. And, same thing. It was a really good brace, steady through everything. He actually ran with a dog that had VC'd the previous year. He stopped to the flush. We had the same thing, a wild flush, stopped to the flush, handled pretty good. And I think one of the things Kyle recommended was that I should just, not run him in braces as much, but rather do a lot of utility runs with him, and then do a brace here and there so that he can keep up with it. But he was at the same level as Lila.
Wow.
Which we had worked with him for the Master Hunter test for the previous month. Lila was actually injured. She had broke a toe. We finished hunting season at the end of February in a private bird club. Lila broke a toe at the end of February, was in recovery all the way up to April 15. I ran her April 15 for 15 minutes for the first time.
Wow.
Then I ran her the weekend before, and then the time you saw her was the third time I ran her this season, which she was not even supposed to be the dog to run in a race
Right.
that weekend. It was supposed to be Leo,
Yeah.
but Michelle's dog was in heat, and then I told my brother Saturday because I was staying in PA. My brother's driving back home. I said to my brother, "Bring Lila because Lila is also in heat, and we just run them together and see what happens."
Yeah.
I had run her the weekend before with my friend David, and then him and his dog, and they did pretty good, David Ellis, and it was a pretty good brace. So I said to Kyle, we could use Lila if we need to, and that's when my brother ran her. So I think it was literally the third or fourth time she was being run after her injury. So it was pretty good.
That says a lot. Well, I mean, dogs are tough too, but you can't get some of that stuff out of your mind. Is she going to start limping halfway through?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
In the test, the dogs know, and they, when I say I didn't feel like those two dogs were competitive, it was because they didn't interfere with each other's hunt, and they also didn't just try to go. Neither one of them followed each other, but then neither one of them even decided to go in a different direction, because both of those things say something.
Right.
But then they do try harder, and you're thinking like, oh, what if that toe breaks again?
Oh, yeah.
Now you got all this stuff going on.
I was thinking that she slipped about 3 times on that wet grass. I was like, oh no. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but thank God that she's good. She's been running back and forth everywhere. She's fully recovered, but man, that was difficult. That was a really hard time just to see her not getting around and whatnot.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
So we know that both of you have just defied all the odds, right? I mean, you got 2 great dogs now, and best friends, brothers. Is this going to be? Is it any chance you guys moving across or eventually moving to different states, or is the brotherhood too tight to be ever away from each other?
I think if we ever move, I consider moving to Michigan, to the Upper Peninsula, but if we ever move, we'll move all together out, take our family, my mom and dad too. They wouldn't let us go. We're a close family.
We
so
have no family here though.
Yeah.
It's just us and our parents, and everybody else is in Cuba. We were the only ones that were lucky enough to be able to get away, and were granted a visa here, which honestly is something that completely changed our life. I am forever grateful for this country and all the opportunity that it has given us.
You've made the most of this opportunity. Yeah. Trust me. I mean, not just school and a job, but I mean, you've got into the culture of something that's been here for 100+ years, right? Of people hunting with each other and going grouse hunting and pheasant hunting and everything. It's just amazing that a little influence. You had, like you said, some air rifles. You messed around, but there was no way that when you were coming from Cuba, there's no way that you were thinking like, I wonder if we're going to ever get a dog and hunt. It was just
no.
You're just trying to like, I wonder if we're going to find a place to live and survive. So you had no family here, nobody that steered you here?
No, not at all. Like I said, we came here under a refugee visa back in 2010, and we didn't know anybody up here where we were living in Jersey. No family, no friends.
Wow.
It was, like I remember the lady who picked us up with the government program from the airport. The only thing she could say in Spanish was tomorrow. That's all we understood. So we really did it. We really didn't know anything at all. And then we just have to, we started meeting people, toughing it out. And like my brother said, we don't have any more family here. So if we move anywhere, we'll move together. That's like, we want to move somewhere else, but my parents
definitely want to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
No one wants to live in New Jersey, especially as a hunter.
Exactly. but we have to kind of see when we do it because we wouldn't leave our parents behind.
Yeah.
They're established here now. We've been here for 13 years. They have a job. They've been there for a while. They own a house. So they're well established, and it's easier for me and my brother to move around and get another job. I mean,
Right.
but for them it's a lot more difficult. They're in their mid 50s to late 50s, so it's a little bit difficult just to say let's go to another place. But if we move, yeah, I don't think I can stay in New Jersey and have my brother in Michigan. I'll drag everybody to go to Michigan. Yeah, we wouldn't be far away from each other for sure. Yeah.
I'll tell
That
you
is
some. I'll tell you something, that if there's a wherever I move, I will consider what type of birds can be hunted in that state.
Alberto's
Yes.
trying to keep the family together, and he's trying to figure out where there's more birds.
Yep.
That's the youngest in the family. Is there any other siblings, or just you and Adrian?
Just us. Yeah,
Yeah,
just us.
just us.
So
Yeah.
is it a mom makes Sunday dinner kind of? Is mom the matriarch of the family?
It's dad, actually.
That is the cooking one. Yeah.
That's the cook,
That's
huh?
the cook.
Oh yeah. He's good.
Yeah, he's good at that.
She's
He
better, but she's lazy at cooking.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
guys, have your mom and dad come out to any of the events, any of the tests or anything?
No, not
No?
really. They do love the dogs. I mean, everything is in
They
English,
must.
so
They let you get a beagle. They let you move in,
yeah,
show up with another dog. They must love you a lot.
Not
yeah,
in the first week.
yeah, yeah. But they don't. My mom understands English, but doesn't really speak it. My dad chops it a little bit, and he could get by for sure. So having them come out, you run your dog for 30 minutes, and everything else you do is talk to people and help people out, right? So
So it's not as
Um,
comfortable for
yeah.
them, probably. Did
Right.
just a side question? Did in Cuba, did you have English as a second language in classes or anything like that? Because I can't imagine they were like teaching you
No.
English in grade school.
They would teach Russian. That's what they would teach. Seriously, back in the days when my dad went to school, they would teach Russian.
They don't
And
Russian.
yeah, it wasn't until like when I was in 5th grade that they started introducing some of the English classes. So when I was like 10 years old. And I mean, it was pretty basic stuff. Like I knew some words, but I couldn't talk to anybody. Just to put it this way, they put me in ESL level 1, which is what you do. That's English as a second language. When you first come here, they put me in level 1. So I pretty much didn't know anything. So
How about Adrian? Being younger in school, did he get a little more English or not really?
No, not in Cuba, but once I got here, I mean, I loved English, and honestly, I can speak better English than I can Spanish now. So I
Really?
think in English, yeah, my wife is English speaking. She speaks a little bit of Spanish, but we dialogue in English.
Yeah.
I think in English, I only speak Spanish with my parents. So
Right.
yeah, not as my brother got a little less experience in school with English, but he actually started speaking it a lot faster than me. I remember 3 or 4 months in, we go to a store and he starts speaking English. I'm like, who is this guy? What is he saying?
I wasn't afraid.
Yeah.
No, I met you, Alberto, and well, I met both of you, obviously, but even when we were doing our apprenticing questions, it sticks out to me when you're in the situation we are in. You're judging dogs. It's a little intimidating because you want to get the right score. You're thinking about what did I just see, and your only frame of reference is your own dog. You've never judged anybody else's dogs, and you always had questions. So that kind of
Right.
makes sense. Like you jumped into the English too when you got here. Like I got to figure this shit out,
Right, exactly.
And you didn't ask dumb questions. I mean, really in that situation, there's no such thing as a dumb question, but your questions were always layered into like, okay, if I do this and the dog does this, Should I think about that? You're very, for some reason, I don't want to say you're a natural, but it spoke to you enough to be like you're just into it. I mean, you are.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling that the younger brother's probably going to be, no, I don't want to judge. And in a few years, he's going to go, maybe I'll start apprenticing.
Maybe.
Or just leave that up to Big Brother. What do you think?
I don't know. I definitely love hunting with the dogs. I think if I were to scale with hunting and training, I would put hunting here and then training just a little bit below. As you can tell, I talk a lot about the hunting and let's go. And I'm thinking about, what our next year's hunt is and, thinking of going to Idaho, Michigan, Montana, all of this. So I definitely love the hunting. The training is going to catch up to me because once I get a house and I have a space of myself to, have a dog and with me and train it, I know that I'm going to get really into it and I'm going to get the truck and, all of that. And my wife is going to be mad at me, but we'll get there when we get there.
That's not a bad path. It's not a bad path.
Right.
I love it.
Guys,
I could tell you that.
You guys, you both impressed the heck out of me this weekend. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. I'll be back in June, apparently. I don't know if you'll both be back there.
I'll be testing that weekend.
You'll be testing. You're going to
with both dogs.
With both dogs. Are you doing, which test are you doing?
The PE.
The PE.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. And I hear it's on flatter ground, right? It's not a tile.
Yeah, it's a McAdoo. Yeah.
I do want to give Kyle a big shout out. I've had Kyle on the podcast before. Great trainer. I'm sure. Well, apparently you did a lot of stuff through YouTube, but I could tell from the people coming over to Kyle's kennel, like it seems like you guys are all family over there. Like you're just really super supportive. I heard people talking like, hey, I got a day off this week to Kyle. Do you need me to come over and do anything? I mean, you guys it's a great support network of Kyle and his kennel.
That's what I always loved. I mean, I do have a closest by chapter, which is a really good chapter too. I was kind of brought up in the Pocono chapter, which is about 2 hours from me, but the people, the friendship, everybody's kindness, Kyle, I did do a lot of things through YouTube with Lila, but that was like the first year and a half. As soon as I got Leo and then I started getting to see Kyle a little bit more, he immediately offered to come out, watch him. He would help me train Leo. Never charge me anything. He'll open his farm, come shoot birds, come here, watch me force fetch dogs, bring your dog out. So honestly, the past couple of years, I completely emerged into Kyle's training techniques, his steadiness, dog search style, really everything. So when I did Leo was pretty easy. Like he was very easy. He just blew right through Kyle's program, which is awesome. And I will forever be thankful for that because he's always been super kind, super supportive. It's not like you have to have his dogs or anything like that for him to help you out. He would just let you, come up to his place. He'll teach you, without ever charging you a dime, which really says a lot about him. And one thing that I always said, I really enjoy how humble he is. And to me, that means a lot. So he's always, been really nice to us.
And not trying to put this on like the fact that you guys came from literally another country, but that's got to be like one of the best feelings, just not in your other NAVDA chapter 2, but you're like, wow, we just showed up here, and because of these dogs, like you almost can't believe like how generous people can be.
Yes.
It is pretty amazing. And I think the bird hunting world, maybe bowling is close. I don't know. It certainly isn't golf, but where someone, they want you to do as good as they do. They're not like
Yes.
holding back anything. They're like, yeah, all right, you can come by Saturday when we have a group. Like Kyle just opens his doors up. Is like, he doesn't care if you've had dogs for 20 years or you're on your first dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I was quite impressed with the whole place up there and all the people in the chapter. It's pretty cool. I've already got a couple converts at my the chapter. We're gonna open up a federation chapter here too.
Nice.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you can become apprentice sometime out here, Alberto.
Absolutely. I need some of that.
I got.
No, I would love to.
Room. You don't even have to, as an apprentice. You got to travel on your own expense. So you get here, you can stay at the house, no problem. We got plenty of room.
That would be awesome, but you got to show me some.
You got to bring Adrian with too. We need some help.
As long as there's food, because I know you were hungry last weekend.
You guys don't eat. I can't get 2 hours on the road without stopping to get a bag of peanuts, and we're going all day. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Everyone's talking about, are we going to get to the next dog? Are we going to do the next dog? I'm like, are we going to get the lunch? You guys are a little too much grr for me. And when I heard that you wanted to do a Montana trip, I said, you ought to stop in North Dakota because you're passing up a lot of birds going to Montana.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can handle you guys in North Dakota.
you should have seen us in Maine. I mean, we left the cabin at like 8 a.m. We were not back until dark. Every day straight.
Too much.
You know what we'd do? We'd get a hot dog and just take it for lunch to go.
And that's it. Yeah. Don't worry about eating.
My friend Bobby called it, do you have a cold dog for me? Because they had nothing to do with a hot dog at that time of the day.
He was grateful for that hot dog.
Yeah.
When we left on Sunday and we were all soaking wet, and it was Debbie had some breakfast sandwiches left.
The egg and cheese? I heard that.
She goes, I still got a breakfast sandwich left. I'm like, please. I'm like, shoving that in my mouth like I haven't eaten in a week. Like, intermittent fasting is not my thing, But you guys just want to go, which, I mean, it also serves you well. I mean, you're not distracted by, anything. You just like, let's go. So this year you talked about Michigan. Are you going to try to make the whole West trip? Or are you going to try to do a Midwest trip? Or what's your thoughts with the two of you?
So I think after my brother runs Invitational in the second week of September, we're going to hook up a trailer from there and take the trailer all the way to Montana. And I'm going to meet my brother in Ohio. And we're going to drive out there and sleep in the trailer and, hopefully get a nice week of hunting, because coming back, it's another 2 or 3 days. So, and we're kind of on a tight vacation schedule with work and everything. So we're just trying to cramp as much hunting time as we can. So we're thinking of Montana during the third week of September. We've never been out there, never hunted Sharpies hunts. So that's going to be a first and an awesome experience we're both looking forward to. And then hopefully when we get back, we'll do weekend trips to Michigan and Maine and New Hampshire. And I think in January, we want to get to Idaho and do some chucker hunting out there.
No.
Why not?
You're spending too many days on the road to go shoot a
right. Yeah,
we might fly.
We're gonna fly. I think we're gonna go on Alaska Airlines and fly out there.
We might fly for that one.
Yeah, I would say that's you're gonna have to get more seniority to get that much time off work.
I got an extra week this year, and I'm all pumped.
So on top of that, you two even work at the same company.
Yep, next to each other.
We went to school both for engineering. We both did the same career. Actually, We went to the same community college. Then we went to the same 4-year college university. Graduated with the same degree, and work in the same company.
Hunt the same birds.
And
But
hunt the same birds, hunt the same dogs. You two are truly, I mean, you're truly Upland Brothers. You really are, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'll tell you something. Our relationship was not always like this. I mean, my brother's 6 years older than I. So when I was in one stage of life, he was in another stage of life. So when I was a kid, he was a teenager. When I was a teenager, he was, an adult.
Oh,
And now we've gone to the point where we're both adults.
yeah.
And we've found that our relationship has grown so much, through the
Yeah.
hunting, and all of this experience that we share together. And now we even got a boat, and we're fixing it up together. So we were just doing that before we jumped on,
Is that
and
going to be another YouTube series? The boat?
No.
probably not.
No. That's
No.
more of a family thing, because
Yeah, it's a
our
family
dad took
thing.
us fishing a lot growing up. So, he works Monday through Saturday. He's only off on Sundays. So, he loves fishing, and we figure we'll get a boat together. We'll go take him out fishing on Sunday afternoons or something, and get to do something with him,
Nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So we
You guys are a true, I don't know what the word is for it, but besides being Upland Brothers, I mean, and again, 6 years apart, it makes sense. Like when you're the old, you guys weren't close enough in age to where you were wrestling and fighting over the same toy, because you were always in the next grade level. But to see this come back together and your family ties, it's it's not going to make me cry, but it's pretty goddamn cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
No.
definitely fortunate enough to have this bond for sure.
And
Yeah.
that's what I've always loved about judging dogs and going around the country. And I've changed my, I used to say the things like I wouldn't hunt if it wasn't for my friends. And that's
Right.
kind of like you guys will end up being there too. And not just you wouldn't hunt if it wasn't for your brother, but all the friends you'll make together.
Mm-hmm.
You say like you don't have a family. When you moved here, you didn't have a family from Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
You've already developed a family.
Right.
Now you're going to develop a family in Michigan. You're going to develop a family in Montana. That's what's really cool about the whole journey you guys are on.
Yeah, and to touch on that, which is funny enough, this year we even took our bus hunting. We made him get his hunting license. He got his license. We got him out pheasant hunting. He shot some birds, and it was in the morning. And then in the afternoon, my brother had to go do something, and I went to drive another hour or so down south, and I went to do some quail hunting in the afternoon. And I get the dogs out, and I'm walking down, and it hit me. I'm like, I've owned dogs for 3 years now. This is the first time I'm hunting alone, just with my dogs. I've always had somebody with me. Whether sometimes we had friends that didn't have license, we'll bring them out anyways. They'll have a blast. It was always my brother. My wife always comes out here and there whenever she can. And always friends. There's always like new friends that we made, and we at least have like three, 4 dogs on the ground almost every time when we're in the state hunting. So we're always hunting with somebody else. Yeah.
And that day you just found yourself by yourself for once.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not normal. I shoot 4 birds and I'm like, that's it. I gotta go home now. I don't shoot the ones they missed or something.
My brother's not yelling in the background. Well, guys, we could probably do this we'll do another one when I come out to judge. But I do want to have, however the invitational goes, percentage-wise, you're probably sitting at 50%, but there's a little piece of me that thinks that you might knock it out of the park. It's happened to a few people.
We're gonna try.
And I want to. I don't know when is that? September what? When is the invitational?
September, I want to say 16. It's a Wednesday, starts on a Wednesday all the way through some, yeah. So I'm looking at it here. No, never mind. So it's gonna be the 13 all the way through the 17. That's what that is.
Okay. Well, then I
Yeah.
can't come out and see you because I'm going to be in North Dakota by that point. But
Lucky you.
yeah, but
It's awesome.
I will definitely get you back on because I want to hear how it came, good, bad, or indifference. It's never bad. It's
Mhm.
just, I went there once and I told myself I would never do it again because I spent a whole summer trying to get that test done, and the couple little things that didn't go good had nothing to do with all the time I put in. And I was like, too much time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But you're young, you're definitely driven, and I look forward to we'll catch up. We'll do something in October, unless you take my advice and stop short of Montana and come to some real good country with me.
Hmm.
Well, that it's in our books. I think Kyle goes to Montana almost every year. So after the
Oh,
invitational,
that's
so
right.
yeah,
That's
so
right.
we had an open invitation there, which we're gonna take for sure.
Yeah, you got
Uh,
to. Yeah, if you got someone who's been there before, you got to take it. You got to
yeah,
take it.
yeah. But as soon as the test is over, and like you said, however the test goes, at this point, it doesn't really matter to me personally. I feel like I am more than proud and satisfied with everything that I've done with my dogs. I love them. They hunt hard. They love to do it. And everything from now on is a plus.
It's all
I
it's all gravy. It's all
yeah.
gravy. And
Last year, I
icing on the cake.
tried really hard for utility. I put a lot of work into it. I'm not gonna lie, I put a lot of work into it. We got through it, and we did pull two prize ones, one in each dog. But afterwards, I realized, prices are really more for people than they are for the dog. So
Yeah.
whatever happens at the invitational happens. I think I'm going because I debated a lot. Whether I was gonna sign up or not for the invitational,
Yeah.
and I decided that I was going to do it for them. So whatever we do at the invitational, I'm going to try my best, but it's going to be for them. I think I'm more than satisfied and happy to the point where we've gotten so far. So,
Well, with my experience there too, I when I left the invitational, I did not leave the invitational like wanting to do it again. I just said, you know what, let's see if I can do it.
mhm.
And just had, I wouldn't say bad luck, but I will tell you the one thing I did, and I think earlier on in this conversation you were talking about Kyle saying, don't run too many braces, just kind of keep it fun for the dog and everything.
Yep.
And there was a mentality back in the day, and it might still be there today, but somebody told me that, and I had a naturally backing German wire hair. I just love this dog. And anytime I hunted with him, he backed every dog. He just backed. It was just there. His pointing instinct was so strong. You've seen it. You own both of you
Mhm.
now. And everyone said, well, you got to get him in front of a Spinoni. You got to get him in front of a Brittany. You got to get him in front of a Vizsla. And I did too much of that. And so we were sitting on the cusp with two backs. One was good. One was And I remember the guy that was handling me, he says, like to see another back, which means, yeah, we're sitting on the fence. And
Right.
so the other dog goes on point right toward the end of the hour. And Davey says, Ron, let's try to work your dog around here and see if he can, back this other dog. And I'll never forget Zygon. He saw that dog, a good 60, 70 yards away. And when he came out of this cut, he saw that dog and he stopped and I was like, yes.
Yes.
Right. And then I could see his body softening up, and he turned around and he made a U-turn. And he just started trotting away.
Ah!
And I was not mad at him. I was just like, you know what? If I'd have just hunted you, done a little, all I really had to do with him is the blind retrieve and some good, some good healing. I had to get him healed really good. he had everything it took, and I shoved too much stuff down his throat. And I think he just told me, he's like, "Can we just go hunting?" He said, but I walked away from there happy as could be. I felt like I passed the test. Like those things that you hadn't done in utility, we knocked those out of the park.
Awesome.
You know, off leash healing, honoring at the water, blind retreat, you know, and, you know, to make a dog, a pointing dog go 100 yards across open water and get something on the other shore and come back. I was proud as hell as that dog. So pass or fail, it'll be a good experience.
For sure. Yeah, we're going to have fun.
And we're going to record it.
I'll tell you all about it.
All right, guys. Well, it's only going to be, I'm looking at my 4-month calendar up here, and I think I'm like, in a month, I'm going to be back in Pennsylvania.
Awesome.
So I got to talk to Jeff. He asked me on Sunday to come back out and judge. So if he was serious, I'll be seeing you before hunting season.
That'll be great.
You're gonna get to judge Lila and Leo.
Oh, that's gonna be some fun stuff. Now
I hope she doesn't go crazy.
I hope it goes well.
Dogs are always a little crazy.
Now they won't be braced together, right? They won't. Be braced.
I don't think so. No. I am running them on the same day, though.
I keep thinking of things to keep talking about, and I'm like, okay, we're going into a 2-hour podcast, which doesn't matter. But when you hunted, and again, Leo's younger than Lila. When you hunted them, was it last year you went to Maine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did you get some backs out on hunting with them? Or they in the woods? It's a little hard to, it's not like a field.
Right.
But we hunted them mainly separate just to we can conserve our dog power.
Good idea.
When we do quail hunting, they do back each other like every time. In fact, Lila never backed as a dog, and when we got Leo, we started quail hunting, and she learned how to back with us quail hunting. Like I never actually taught her how to back or did training on how to back with her. She picked it up because there were dogs on point. She would come running in and I would just go, whoa. And I would whoa her and she'll stop and start looking what's going on, and she's looking at the other dogs on point. 4 or 5 birds would get up whenever we had a covey, shoot, we don't hunt them steady. So they fall and she's fast and she would almost always get a retrieve. And so that got her going. And the one day we were actually out there and I'm like, is she backing? and then she just started backing like every time after that, which was pretty awesome.
That is amazing. Like I said, I saw the dog and I would have thought that backing is natural, but some people have to work on it, and just her experience got her like, okay, this is just as good as pointing,
Right.
She was a 10 in backing. I can tell you that. Right?
Yeah. She looked intense too, which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that was the first time I judged 2 dogs, because in the NAVDA years, I only judged single dogs, and I kind of messed up my score. I didn't mess up the score on Lila, but I messed up the score on Emma a little bit, and I was like, oh yeah, there was more intensity in that back. Yeah.
No, it was really good. Honestly, it was really good.
She certainly made it easy on me, to be honest, for being the first time handling her.
Yeah, we're all rooting for you, Adrian. We're like, the last thing you want to hear is your big brother saying, Adrian, what did you do? What did you do?
Yeah, and you could quickly screw up a brace if you mess it up. If you don't heel them away when they're watching a bird and they delay chase or anything like that, So I was a little nervous for sure.
Yeah, well, you handled it very well. Very well. All right, guys. I will see you in a month, or maybe both of you. I don't know if both of you will be there for the test, but can't wait to have a beer and hear some more stories.
That would be awesome. And really, thank you for having us here. Really had a really good fun time. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you guys just, like when I met you, I was just like, there's a good story here. And then, starting from the Amish breeder on Google on the way home. I mean, I said, don't tell me anymore. We got to record this story because you beat all the odds and you did everything right.
Yeah. Oh, well,
right,
here we're
guys.
gonna keep doing it.
It was a
All right.
pleasure being over here, Ron. Thank you very much for
All right.
inviting us over.
And thanks to the Versal Hind Dog Federation for hooking us all up out at Kyle Huff's place. What's his kennel?
Absolutely.
Schwarzwald.
Yep.
Schwarzwald.
That's right.
I can't pronounce it.
I can't say it. You can't ask a Cuban how to say a German word.
That's the perfect end. You can't ask a Cuban to say it. I love it. Oh, where did my stop go here? Oh shit. Where's my record button? I'm gonna have to edit out the last couple seconds of this thing. Where is my oh wait a minute. There.